So I wanted to finish with this song, Pass It On, because the fact that we are here today is because somebody before us didn't give up and pass it on. That's the point, you know? We are fortunate for that because there are places in the world that people gave up, like many countries in Europe, for instance. If you go to Europe, there are many countries that are totally apart from it. There are small groups, you know, people that join together and praise God, but in general, whole Europe is gone. So we lost a bunch of countries, you know, millions and millions of people, they gave up. So we are fortunate because somebody before us had the courage to pass it on, to keep going. Maybe it was not perfect, maybe it was, you know, some mistakes always, because human, you know, experience is always a mixture between good sin and no good sin. That's how it is. We are in the fight. But we are here, thanks God, because they pass it on. So today we are going to read, you know, and to talk a little about three people who are a kind of reference people in the Bible for us. The first is David, and let me read a verse from his story. You know, one verse that I found important for us today. So, 1 Samuel 16:7. The Lord does not see as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Esther. Let's remember Esther. Do you remember who Esther was? No? Kids, do you remember? Pablo. Why we remember her? She became what? A queen, right? She became a queen. And what else we remember? There is another important character in that story, you know? Mordecai. Mordecai, yes. Could you tell me what Esther was of Mordecai? They were cousins, right? They were cousins. But Esther was younger, much younger, you know? Okay, so let me read a verse from her book. Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? And Mary, Jesus' mother. Let me read a verse from here, important verses. And having come in, talking about the angel, and having come in, the angel said to her, Rejoice, highly favored one, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women. What a word. What a word. So we have three different people, different times. All of them became very important. So David became, what he became? A king, right? Esther became a queen. And Mary became a mother, and maybe the queen of all mothers, you know? Maybe the queen of all mothers, favored you among the women, okay? So wow. And we have also three people from different maybe backgrounds, you know? So David, let's say if we talk of David in our current time, we can say that maybe came from a middle class people, farmer people, you know, working people, right? Probably maybe in those times, not too many formal education in those times. But Esther, she came from a well-educated family. We don't know about riches, you know, about money, no, but well-educated. Well-educated. Mordecai educated her, you know. And Mary, she was actually, the most important woman was actually from common people. The more common people ever. You know, working people. But was the most important woman. So God chose, and still does, you know, people from different backgrounds, different education background, a different social status, because actually we people are the one who make this social status, right? Not God. God doesn't make any difference. And they became kings and queens, right? Most important thing. Now, let's talk a little bit more about it. Why God chose them? What they have in special, no? I think it has to do with their personalities and how God sees things and how we should learn to see things, no? We should learn to see things likewise God does. That is difficult, but we can learn somehow. Now, Nora, question for Nora and for Leo. Do you think you have beautiful feet? Think about it. Let me see girls over there. Do you think you have beautiful feet? How do you think your feet? I think my feet are beautiful. You know, I trim my nails, I clean them. Well, look good enough for a man, you know? Look enough for a man. As long as they are clean. But how could you actually tell when feet are beautiful in our current view? Any idea? No, maybe go to manicure, maybe paint them a little, some faces. People make some faces or put some color. You know, so we usually have a view about what fits, when fits are beautiful, you know. And most people, especially girls, you know, they go to make a manicure, they take care of the feet. Men, no, we just make it clean. You know, as long as they are clean and good smell, it's enough. It's enough. But for a woman, no.
We appreciate queens.
Right? Yes. Yes. But look how God looked the feet. How beautiful are the feet of those who preach the gospel of peace. So, in God's view, the beauty is not about how clean they are, or how smelling, or good smell actually, sorry, the other way around, how good they smell. It's about how they work, how much they do for others. That is how God sees the beauty. That is important thing that we need to learn, you know. So it's that characteristic, not the outward appearance. But let's back to our characters: David, Esther, and Mary. One question. So one became a king, and two of them became queens. One in earthly, you know, material world, and the other king for all women, maybe we can say, you know, Jesus' mother, God's mother. So what happened? Let's pretend that God has never chose them. Never chose them. My question is, they were ready, they were up to the task, even if God didn't choose them? So my point is that in history, you know, many people are sometimes ready for the task. Esther, she was a queen before Asuero the king chose her. She was raised to be a queen. That's the point. As a girl, as a person, she was a queen before she got the throne and the corona. Right? Well, for those who speak Spanish, corona is the crown. She was a queen before. She didn't need the title. So kids, you don't need the title to be a queen. Or boys, you don't need the title to be a king. She was a queen before she was chosen. David was ready to be a king before he was chosen. In in the earthly world, in the material world. Mary was ready to be Jesus' mother before she was chosen, because they had some characteristic. They were God's friends somehow. And that's what we, as church, as parents, as educators, we should pass it on in such a way that our kids can be queens, can be priests, can be kings, even if they are never chosen. They can live in that way. And that is a task of the church, to pass it on. Pass it on. So you may never have the title, but you are a queen and a priest. You have to live and to be up to the task. That's the point, the main point. So they had these three people. They have different background, educational background, social background, whatever. But spiritually, morally, they were up to the task. They were equal. They were God's friend. They were ready. So let me go ahead with something that I think is important, a characteristic that, some characteristics, maybe there are more, about these three people, but there is a verse in the Bible that shed some light about this. It's found in the text about Mary. So when the angel told her that she was going to be God's mother, Jesus' mother, so Mary said to the angel, "How can this be?" Sense and start saying why. And start saying why. How can this be? So maybe that is the point. There are many reasons in the mind of the people who God shows why they maybe should not be. Maybe she thought, or we can think in our time, maybe I'm not rich. Remember that in those days, the general concept of the Messiah was that he was going to be a king, an earthly king with power, with riches. So she said, why? Since maybe I'm not rich, first of all. I don't have formal education. Mary was a simple person. In those times, it was even difficult, especially for a woman, to learn how to read. It was very difficult. I do not have nice feet. I can't have the money to go to manicure my feet. I don't have the last phone model. My iPhone 11 or Galaxy 25. I don't know what number is right now. I do not have followers and likes in my Facebook profile or in my Twitter account or in my, what else, guys, do you have? TikTok? I don't know. Snapchat, whatever. I don't have millions of likes like others do. But the angel said, you are the one. You are the one. So God sees quite different. And we have to learn by ourselves that difference. So, but that gives us a reality as well. They didn't think of themselves as superiors to others. That is an important thing, guys. When you think that you are superior to others, you are failing. You are not up to the task. So we can't judge ourselves. That is the point. You can, guys, especially the kids, you can get all the time thinking if you are better than others. You have to be what you have to be. And you have to write your own story. That's the point. We write our own story. We read about David, we read about Mary, about Esther, not to copy them, to write our own story. That is the important thing. We learn from them, but we are not them. You can't be them. Never. So you have to be your own. Now, one other important thing, these people, I think, they engage. They were people, able to look to you and to talk to you and to look at the eye and talk to you and have a conversation. Mary, for as humble as she was, the angel talked to her and she answered. She was able, okay, I'm not ready, but she answered to the angel. So she engaged. When David was in the battle, he saw Goliath saying a bunch of stuff against God. He engaged and he said, I'm going. He talked to the king. He got the courage to go to the king and say, I'm going. So he engaged. He didn't isolate himself. That is important, guys. Kids especially, you have to learn to do not isolate yourself. You have to engage in your community, engage in your church, engage in your school, engage in your family. So engage with what is going on. That is an important thing. Esther, she engaged. She said, maybe it's right what Mordecai said. For this time I came to be the queen, so I'm going to pray. I'm going to do what God wants me to do. I'm going to talk with the king to solve this problem. That is an important characteristic of these people. Even when they're different, they engage in their community, in their work. They pass it on. Another important thing, I already said, is a review. They didn't just themselves. They do what they have to do. They didn't compare to others. But the most important thing, with this I want to finish, they pray. And kids, and everybody. So if it's no worth for you if you attend church, if you attend the Sabbath school, Sunday school, whatever, if you attend church meeting, whatever, or you sing, or you do a missionary activity, it's no worth for you if you cannot go and Jesus said, close the door and pray to your Father that is in the secret place. So you, me, everybody, it's not worth if you do all this kind of stuff, because you are going to wake up one day and say, why I do this if I don't actually have a connection with God. So you need to have a personal connection with God. How do you get that? There is only one step. Jesus said, close the door, stay on your knees and pray to God, who is in the secret place. So when we teach our kids, when we teach ourselves to do that, God takes over. Because we are not the one who teach others to know God. It's God himself who came to you to fill your life, to somehow get in your mind, in your thoughts. He is the one who gives you life every day. So you need that connection, and he takes over when you bend your knees by yourself every day, asking him. So that is the most important lesson. And the three people, they had that. They had that. We should have that, and we should teach our kids to do that. Because if we only teach them to do things, all the time, sometimes too many things, they wake up one day saying, well, I do really believe. I just read 6 weeks ago, let's say, a guy, a singer, a very important singer, he said, I do not believe anymore, he said, in one of his Twitter, was on the New York Times. I do not believe them anymore. I always thought that I believed, but I never had an experience. So he was a singer, famous singer. He went to church, he did missionary activity, but he never got that connection with God. So you have to get that connection. The secret is not in you. The secret is that you go and ask God to have this connection with you, to be your friend. Then His grace is going to give you that friendship. It's going to transform you. It's going to take over your life. So remember, maybe you will never have the title of a king or of a queen, and you should be. You should be. Even in all your imperfections, God transforms you. God sees you as a king, as a queen. So God bless you, and God help us to get that connection.